The story of Prophet Yusuf, عليه السلام, a tale of patience, trials, and forgiveness. Welcome, everyone. Today we are going to hear one of the most beautiful and inspiring stories in Islam, the story of Prophet Yusuf, عليه السلام. This story teaches us about patience, trust in Allah, and the power of forgiveness. Let's dive in. The dream of Prophet Yusuf, عليه السلام. When Yusuf, عليه السلام, was a young boy, he had a remarkable dream. One night, he saw 11 stars, the sun and the moon bowing to him. Excited and curious, he rushed to his father, Prophet Yaqub, alayhi salam, and told him about the dream. "Father," he said, "I saw 11 stars, the sun and the moon prostrating to me." Yaqub, alayhi salam, was both amazed and concerned. He realized that this was a special sign from Allah, but he also understood that this dream could make Yusuf, alayhi salam, a target of jealousy and envy from his brothers. So he advised his son, "Do not tell your brothers about this dream, for they might plot against you." The jealousy of his brothers. Now Yusuf, alayhi salam, had 10 older brothers, and they were filled with jealousy towards him. They felt that their father loved him more, and their hearts were consumed with envy. The brothers plotted to get rid of him, so their father would show them more affection. One day they decided to take Yusuf, alayhi salam, to the fields. But instead of spending time together, they threw him into a deep well. To cover up their actions, they stained Yusuf, alayhi salam, his shirt with fake blood and returned to their father, claiming that a wolf had attacked him. Yaqub, alayhi salam, was devastated and mourned for his son, but he didn't believe the lie. Deep down, he knew that Yusuf, alayhi salam, was still alive, and he put his trust in Allah's plan. The journey to Egypt. Meanwhile, Yusuf, alayhi salam, was found by a passing caravan. They took him out of the well and sold him as a slave in Egypt. His new owner was Al-Aziz, a high-ranking minister in the king's court. Yusuf, alayhi salam, grew up in the house of Al-Aziz, where he was treated with respect and kindness. However, Yusuf, alayhi salam, would soon face an even greater test, the trial in the house of Al-Aziz. As Yusuf, alayhi salam, grew older, he became known for his beauty, wisdom, and piety. The wife of Al-Aziz, Zulaykha, became infatuated with him. One day when no one was around, she tried to seduce him. "Come to me, Yusuf, alayhi salam," she said. But Yusuf, alayhi salam, knowing that this was a test from Allah, refused and ran towards the door. "I seek refuge in Allah. How can I betray my master who has treated me with kindness?" At that moment, Zulaykha accused him falsely, claiming that he was the one who tried to harm her. The situation became complicated, and Yusuf, alayhi salam, was thrown into prison, even though he was innocent. In prison, Yusuf, alayhi salam, remained patient and steadfast. He continued to worship Allah and inspire those around him with his wisdom. One day, 2 prisoners came to Yusuf, alayhi salam, with strange dreams. The first man said, "I dreamt that I was pressing grapes for wine." The second man said, "I dreamt that birds were eating from my head." Yusuf, alayhi salam, interpreted their dreams. He told the first man, "You will be freed and you will serve the king again." To the second man, he said, "You will be executed and birds will eat from your head." The interpretations came true, but the man who was freed forgot to mention Yusuf, alayhi salam, to the king, and Yusuf, alayhi salam, remained in prison for several more years. The king's dream. One day the king of Egypt had a troubling dream. He saw 7 healthy cows being eaten by 7 thin cows, and 7 green stalks of grain being eaten by 7 dry ones. No one could interpret this dream. Finally, the man who had been freed from prison remembered Yusuf, alayhi salam, and told the king, "I know a man in prison who can interpret dreams." The king called for Yusuf, alayhi salam, who immediately interpreted the dream. "There will be 7 years of plenty, followed by 7 years of famine. Store food wisely during the years of abundance to survive the years of drought." Yusuf, alayhi salam, becomes a leader. Impressed by Yusuf, alayhi salam's wisdom, the king appointed him as a high-ranking official in charge of managing the food supply. Yusuf, alayhi salam, worked hard to prepare for the coming years of famine. During the famine, Yusuf, alayhi salam's brothers, came to Egypt seeking food. They did not recognize Yusuf, alayhi salam, but he immediately recognized them. The reunion. Yusuf, alayhi salam, decided to test his brothers. He kept his youngest brother, Binyamin, in Egypt and sent the others back home with a message. They begged him to release Binyamin, and after seeing their sincerity, Yusuf, alayhi salam, finally revealed his identity. I am Yusuf, alayhi salam, your brother. Do not be sad for what you did to me, he said. Allah has forgiven you. His brothers were shocked and ashamed, but instead of seeking revenge, Yusuf, alayhi salam, forgave them, showing them the power of mercy and forgiveness. The family reunion, Yusuf, alayhi salam, invited his family to come live with him in Egypt. When Yaqub, alayhi salam, arrived, he was overjoyed to see his son again. He had mourned Yusuf, alayhi salam, for so long that he had lost his sight from grief. But when he placed Yusuf, alayhi salam's shirt over his eyes, his sight was restored by the will of Allah. The whole family was reunited, and they all lived together in Egypt. The dream that Yusuf, alayhi salam, had as a child came true when his brothers and parents bowed before him, just as the sun, moon, and stars had done in his dream. Conclusion. The story of Yusuf, alayhi salam, is a beautiful reminder of patience, trust in Allah, and the importance of forgiveness. No matter how difficult life may get, we must always remember that Allah has a plan for us, and in the end, His will always prevails. The trials that Yusuf, alayhi salam, faced in his life were difficult, but through his faith and perseverance, he became a leader and a symbol of hope for all of us. Let us all learn from his story and trust in Allah's wisdom, mercy, and timing. This is as far as I have learned and understand about the story of Yusuf, alayhi salam. If there's anything incorrect, or if you have any additional insights, please feel free to share them in the comment section below. I appreciate your feedback and look forward to learning together. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more inspiring stories. May Allah bless us all with patience and forgiveness, just like Yusuf, alayhi salam.